I want to talk about the cycle that is pretty, I guess you could say, people defend it for no reason, and it's a cycle that we're born into, and it's a cycle that people just go along with. And it's annoying to me, really, because you point this out to them, and they will defend it, and people that complain and bitch about it will defend it, and you give them solutions to how we could fix it, and then they want to get upset because they've been programmed that way, or they have seen other people go say this and they just go along with it, and it's sad to me. And I'm gonna talk. I've brought this up several times, but I've not really went fully in depth with it, and that is the cycle and the system of, I guess you could say, capitalism. It's extremely frustrating. So think about this: from the age of 5 to 65, you were basically sent to school. You learn things that you're really not going to use later on, especially in today's age. You can Google this stuff in 5 seconds and get the answer, and 95% of it you will never use again in your daily life. Now, when it comes to things like English, math, and some science, some history, you need to know that. But I'm not sure why they dragged this out for so long, and it's the way it is set up. They tell you you go to school. They tell you when you can go to the bathroom. They tell you when you can have a break. They tell you when you can eat. They tell you what time you have to be there. They tell you what time you leave. And then and then during this period of time, they get it in your head that you have to do this in order to have a good life and to succeed and be successful in life. So then they set you up to go to college, get it in your mind that you need to go to college. So you go to college. It could be for 2 years, it could be for 10 years. Normally, when you leave college, because you have to pay for college, you're in huge amounts of debt. The degree that you just earned, you're not getting a good job at, and you might be making 50 grand a year if you're lucky. Most times it's 30 to 50, depending on what you go to college for. I mean, it could be a lot more, obviously. And then you're in debt, so the majority of your income goes to paying off student loans. So you are caught in a trap. You're stuck in this cycle that just reinforces and feeds itself. So you can go make money to live, and then once you graduate, you got to go. You're in debt. You go get a job somewhere. You work 40, 50, 60 hours weeks. Miserable while you're doing it. Looking forward to your days off. Looking forward to the time you get off work. Being miserable every step of the way for the most part when it pertains to your work. Unless you're a fortunate person and actually enjoy your work, then it's not work. You can call it play, and congratulations. And then you do this until you're 65, until you can actually retire. And at this point, your whole life has been wasted. Caught in a system, caught in a cycle that we call capitalism. It's a wonderful thing, wonderful thing, wonderful thing. I refuse to partake in it. I refuse to participate in it. And I do not agree with school for the most part. I don't agree with college for the most part. And I don't agree with the system in place when it comes to working for the most part. Because I don't think a child needs to go to school from the ages of 5 to 18 to graduate high school and then proceed to go to college for 2 to 10 years to get a degree and be successful. So it's people are programmed, and then it is a cycle. They get taught something and go along with something that this person did, and they were taught and went along with something that this person did, and it's a weird, extremely odd and weird paradox that people have this stand for it, but will also defend it and go along with it. So anytime I bring this up to people, they defend it like, well, this is just the way life is. You gotta, go along with it, or you gotta have nice things. So we have to go work, and then it's so ingrained into them that they brag about working 40, 50, 60 hours a week like that's something to brag about. Like, Jesus Christ, congratulations, you're stuck, and you're bragging about it because you have been programmed to think that this is, you have to do this, go to school, get straight A's, go to college, get a degree, work your ass off to have money, imaginary, by the way. I want you to fully realize this. Money is only valuable because we put value on it. It is paper and numbers that we put value on, so that makes it valuable. I have said and came up with several ways that we can fix this. I do not believe you should have to pay for health care. I do not believe you should have to pay for the necessities to live life, and that would be water, food, housing, electricity. Um, in today's age, internet is needed because of certain things, a lot of things. So you should not have to pay for this. And I also think, in some sense, universal basic income should absolutely play a factor. But you tell people this, the same people that bitch and complain about it, you tell them this and they start defending it. Well, you just want to give everybody a handout. They need to work because I had to work, so they need to work. But you bitch and complain about working. Why do you care if people? You're included in that. You're included in the stuff because they've been programmed. Sad. It's sad. They've been brainwashed, essentially. And then people, I'm not calling anyone out, I'm not being rude, but I've noticed people that have low income, you start talking about universal basic income or raising minimum wage up, and they will scoff and laugh at it like, I don't need the government to provide for me. I'll provide for myself. God provides for me. This is legitimate conversations I've had with people. I worked at a car lot for a while, and there was this old school, Old Testament by the book Christian that worked there. Thought that it was a sin to be gay. Overlooked every single thing other than that, because that's what Christians do for the most part. Most of them, anyway. Believes that the woman should not work. It's the man's responsibility. He goes out and kills himself. We would work 10-hour days. He would work 10 hours at the car lot, then go to Papa John's and deliver pizzas for a couple hours, and then he had little side businesses. So this man was spending probably 12 hours of his day, 6 days a week, working. No, that's a lie. Probably 14 to 15 hours of his day, 6 days a week, working. And he was proud of that. Why? You complain about it, but you're proud of it. It mind fucks me. I also know someone in my life that I associate with on a pretty frequent basis that has a ridiculous amount of money, does not know how to handle his money, so he blows his money on stupid things and then bitches about the money, procrastinates about what to do to make more money, then fucks off for probably 20% of the time. The other 80%, he doesn't spend time with his family, out working, and then brags about the work part, and is miserable the whole way. Thinks the only meaningful thing in life is money. Thinks that's what propels the world forward, and it is so odd and weird to me to watch this unfold. And I have noticed most of people's stress and misery comes from money, but then they don't want a stress-free life with these things offered. I'm not sure, but just to go back to this, I know someone that is lower, middle to lower class income, and complains about money, but will not accept the idea of universal basic income or accept the idea of the minimum wage going up to a livable wage. And then says like McDonald's workers and Dairy Queen workers and stuff should not be allotted that, because it's just so, it's easy work, like Walmart, stuff like that. So then, well, I make this much now. Are they going to raise my normal salary up to match that minimum wage? See, fuck everybody else. Let's just worry about me. But yes, they should raise your wage up to more. Like, let's just say you're already making $15 an hour. Minimum wage is what, like $8 or $9, I think. So however much you're making, let's say you're making 15 now, so they should bump yours up $6. Yes, that's fair. That should be it. But just because you're think that you're above these people does not mean they don't have a right to work a livable wage job. So what would you suppose they do? Go to college, get in debt, and then get a job? And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of people that go to college, they can't find a good job when they come out of college. So it's just weird how indoctrinated people are into this. It really is. It blows my mind how people will bitch about it and defend it. I'm not sure the reasoning for it. It's just odd. So this is what I would do if I had any say so in it. I don't think you should go to school until you're 10 years old. Now, for development and growth and children being around other children, there could be something set up for that does not involve school. Sort of like where you go meet and kids could, because the parents could teach the kids how to walk, the colors, this thing. They don't need to go to school 8 hours a day at 5 years old. Or sort of like preschool, I guess you could say. That could be moved up in the age brackets where for maybe 3 or 4 hours a day you go and you interact with other children, you learn certain things you need to learn, like colors, things of this nature, ABCs, whatever. But parents could absolutely teach the kids that. It's not that much extra work. It's not hard. That's the way it should be. And then go to school from the age of 10 to 18. That's fairly okay. Go to school 4 days a week, 5 hours a day. Anything more than that's crazy. Teach them things they need to learn, and once that's out of the way, give them advanced learning then, so when they do graduate, they could be a leg up in college if they want to go to college. But again, I think college is a waste of time unless you want to be a doctor, a surgeon, a veterinarian, insert whatever you really need to go to college here. There's only maybe a couple dozen things in all actuality. And then after this, you don't have to work till you're 65 to retire. You can retire at 50 and then enjoy your life. We should have this built up for them. And I also would like to incorporate, like I said, universal basic income. That way people can actually give them free housing, give them food, water, shelter, electricity. Because then what they can do is focus on making this place better for everyone involved. It's not just focused on let's be miserable, making money to get by, to be more miserable by getting by. It's a weird game. I don't know why people just don't stand up to the game, because it could be better, especially when you start researching how much money we spend on a war on drugs, keeping people in prison that don't need to go there, wars, research that is frivolous. So it can be done, it should be done, and I need people to understand money is imaginary. There is absolutely nothing to back the money now. It's not like the gold thing. There is nothing to back money. We are $4 trillion in debt, if not more at this point, and we just printed out $2.3 trillion for a stimulus package. We're getting ready to print out probably another $1.5 trillion for another stimulus. And there is nothing to back this. Money is imaginary. It is paper with numbers on it or digits on your phone or on your screen that we put value upon. A lot of this stuff going on in the world does not need to go on. A lot of these jobs that people, well, what happens when you give people? I've had people say this to me. What happens when you start giving everybody this stuff for free and then give them money on top of it? You think they're going to work? No, I don't think they're going to work. They shouldn't work, especially what they're doing. They can use that time to find something that they have passion about and enjoy their life and can contribute back to society. So no, I don't expect people to go work at Burger King when we're giving them free stuff and universal basic income. And you shouldn't either. Why? I'd say this is my honest opinion. We don't need fast food. There's nothing good about it, and it can be set up in such a way to where you get incentivized to go volunteer your time to do something like that. Like, hey, I want to go at Burger King 4 hours a day or something. Or we can get machines to we already, if you've been in Walmart recently or major outlets like this, you'll see that there's a lot more machines than humans in there. So make the machines do it. Have a couple of humans in there to oversee it, and then it will be fine. You can still eat your fast food, and you can still do things of this nature. It's not that serious. It can be set up in such a way it can be done, but a lot of people are going to have to give a lot of things up to do it. So is your happiness worth? What's your happiness worth to you? You know, what's your life? The value of your life worth in the end? Is it worth? Well, let's keep everything the way it is now because I want to be selfish about a few things. Or can we give some things up to make this better for everyone involved? And that's the best way to go with. There's nothing else better to do than to truly bring paradise to earth, peace on earth. It doesn't have to be a perfect utopia, but it can be much greater than what it is now. On a scale of 1 to 10 of utopia or paradise, what especially America, where Earth in general is right now, out of 10, 10 being a utopia paradise, it's at about a 3. So we could bring that up to about at least a 7. That would be fantastic. And I do say this is heaven, by the way. I'm not disputing this is heaven. I'm disputing the way that the system is set up is not, and it could be better for everyone involved. So, love you guys. It's a game of form and a play of life. I am me talking to you, and so is everyone else.